Hey there YouTube, my name is Jonathan, everyone calls me Johnny. This is actually my first video to post on YouTube, so I'm a little nervous, a little excited. Sorry that I didn't get rid of this scruff, I've been kind of busy lately. But a little bit about me, I'm 29 years old. I had a VSG, which is a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, in December of 2015. So right now this video that I'm doing is actually about 10 things that I wish I would have known before I ended up having the surgery. And hopefully it helps you guys, either determine if you want to make it or determine if you might not want to do it. So without further ado, here we go. Number one would be that I didn't have to do the all-liquid diet that they say that you should do. I went to my doctor's office. We ended up having to check to see, like what kind of stuff we were going to have to do beforehand. And one of the things that they told us was the, liquid diet was supposed to be all sugar-free jellos and popsicles and things like that, things that nobody wants to possibly do for 2 weeks straight before surgery. So I asked, I was like, is this any particular reason that we have to do it all liquid, or is it a calorie restriction type of thing? And they told me that it was just that they are trying to have us do 800 calories or less, and that is the easiest way to do it. So I was like, well, I know how to count calories. I mean, I've been doing it for long enough. Hashtag MyFitnessPal. So yeah, I decided to go do it on my own without even doing the liquid diet. I just wanted to do the 800 calories worth. So actually I have a whole list of things that make that easier. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know and I'll make a whole separate video about what kind of things I consume during that, 800 calorie 2 week before surgery time period. But moving on to this list, number 2 on the list is you can still eat a lot after having surgery. You may not be able to eat it all at once, and the hungrier you are, the less you're able to eat in one sitting. But you could definitely graze and graze and graze and graze throughout the entire day. And that's not good. That's not good at all, because you will basically eat the same amount of calories, only instead of eating it in 3 huge meals, you'll eat 8 times during the day, eating chips, candy, little snacks, sandwiches, anything like that. So you can still eat a lot, and that's something very important, because they kind of told us that, you got rid of a part of your stomach that makes you hungry, but no, you'll still be hungry, especially that bored kind of hungry. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Another thing that I wish I would have known beforehand was that I was going to be eating a lot of cold food, and not necessarily food that's supposed to be cold. And there's 2 main reasons I noticed for this. The first reason is that you're just too lazy or too hungry to heat stuff up sometimes. So you'll just eat it straight out of the fridge, or you'll leave it on the counter and then come back to it and it's cold and you'll still eat it because you're just so hungry. So that's one reason. Another reason why you eat cold food is because, let's say you're out with friends or you're out visiting somebody and they'll serve you food. You'll only be able to eat a part of it, and once you're done with that part, you're trying to slowly inch at it so that you don't look like a jerk leaving all your plate behind, even though you will, and I promise you will leave some behind. You just eat it cold. And I've had the rare occasion where somebody has asked me if I'd like them to microwave it, to which case I'll lie and I'll be like, oh no, I'm so used to eating this cold food. Nobody gets used to eating cold food. But that's the lie you gotta say, because you don't want to inconvenience them either. And you're not gonna re-microwave things for yourself too. When you're at home watching TV, you're not gonna reheat your lasagna 3 times in the course of one meal. You're just not gonna do it. So you'll be eating it cold. So that's something you should definitely kind of expect at this point. Fourth is you're still supposed to, according to my doctor, you're supposed to consume 60 ounces of water a day. That is incredible. I don't even know how to begin thinking of how I would be able to manage to do that. I probably get about 2 bottles of water in a day, maybe at that, but it's really, really, really hard. But I go to, the weight loss support group from my hospital, and I've had, some assistance from other people, and they've given me tips. If you guys want, I can make a tip video also just on those kind of things, but it's really, really hard, even with following those tips. The fifth thing, we're halfway done already. The fifth thing that I would have to consider is that you will gain some of this weight back. You will. That's just guaranteed, and they don't really stress this too much. But you are going to lose a whole bunch of weight. A lot of it will stay off if you continue your diet the way you should. For example, I think I was at 235 when I ended up having my surgery, and I got all the way down to 160 and was, being real extra. I went to Express and got all these like slim fitted medium shirts, and then I ballooned back up, and I couldn't really tell why I was ballooning back up, because I don't think I was eating like that far out of like what should be the ordinary. But it's just that you lost so much weight, your stomach was so swollen that you're gonna go down drastically, but then you're gonna come back up and stay at that level for a pretty long time. Unless you really work real extra at like hardcore dieting and hardcore exercise, you're probably gonna stay at that level. So I went down to like 160, 165, and now I'm back up to 180, and I've been here for a very, very, very excruciatingly long time, even though I'm supposed to be back at the like 160, and I want all that clothes that are about to fit. So if you're looking for clothes to buy in that interim period, buy cheap clothes, maybe something from H&M, Forever 21, not something from Express, because you might not be able to fit into it after a while. The sixth thing on my list is that everyone is going to tell you that you took the easy way out. Now, this really depends on you guys, how you guys are able to deal with something like that. For myself, I don't particularly care about people telling me that. In fact, I almost kind of agree with it. It has a lot of its own complications and difficulties that are associated with our surgery. But as far as the eating, and controlling how to eat, it was easier for me to go through the surgery than to, not go through with the surgery. So I'll kind of agree with them on that. But depending on how you are, that might be hurtful, that might be irritating, especially after you hear it time and time and time and time again. So that's something that you should really brace yourself for and kind of start preparing how you're going to deal with it, because it's going to happen all the time. People are going to do it maliciously, like talking crap to you, and they're going to be like, oh, you took the easy way out, woo-woo. And some people are actually going to unintentionally say it. They're like, oh, at least you got it done the easy way, and no one's really, trying to get on their cases because they're being nice about it. But at the same time, depending on who you are, it could be irritating, and that's something you should know beforehand. The seventh thing on my list is that nobody understands what your portion size is, and nobody will ever understand what your portion size is. I mean, unless you live day in and day out with the same person, and they're the ones prepping your meals. If you go like to your mom's house, or to a restaurant, or to your friend's house, or on a date, or whatever the case may be, no one's ever going to understand what your portion size is. And everyone will rather overstuff your plate than understuff your plate, because that's generally how we think here in the U.S. Probably in a lot of places too, but so don't even try to make them understand. Just, either if you can, serve yourself, or if you can't, tell them, to try his best to give you a child's portion. And even if you're hungry, maybe just write it out. Don't even, say that you're still a little hungry or whatever the case may be, because it's better to err on the side of caution when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it's also better to make them feel good about what they served you. So, yeah, that's another thing. They're never going to understand what we eat. I go to restaurants and they always tell me, they're like, did you even eat anything? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of sort of did. So, yeah, if you're actually the type that's really trifling, the really trifling kind, you could say that you just didn't like the food and you're just unsatisfied, and they might take it off the check. But this is not what we're trying to do on this channel. Being that it's my first video and all, we're trying to be good people, decent people. So with that said, let's move on to the next topic. And that is number 8, which is everything about weight loss still applies. It's still calories in versus calories out. So you still have to count calories. You still have to watch your macronutrients. You still have to work out, which is dreadful. I hate working out. Every form of exercise I feel is like hell on earth for me. But it's been easier since I've kind of made commitments with certain friends on certain days to go to the gym. But it's still not my cup of tea. But it still applies to weight loss. All the choices that you make with your food are going to count. You know, you have X amount of calories that you could eat throughout the day, you know, X amount of space in your stomach. Are you really going to fill that up with candy, muffins, cake, pop, and things like that? Pop is a whole different situation, and I could make a whole video on the pop situation alone. But yeah, do you really want to fill your stomach, liquor, fill your stomach up with those kind of things? Because, you know, it's still going to make you fat if you do. So all of those rules still apply. You still gotta drink a lot of water. Your appetite, you know, you might, depending on who you are, you might still need your appetite suppressants that you've been taking for years. I don't know. All these things still apply though. Number 9, carbs. Carbs, 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 carbs. Carbs are so much easier to eat than anything else when you're sleeved up. At least for me it is. I've never been a big, huge proponent of like rice or pasta or breads, but they do go down smoother than fibrous carbs like broccoli and lettuce and all of that. And they definitely go down easier than meats. So you gotta be very careful with that. I totally suggest that you measure out your carbs beforehand and you see how many carbs you should be having during the day, because the carbs will kill you at the end of it. Even when you go out to eat at a restaurant, you know, that's usually what you'll continue to munch on is the carbs. And then once you get home, you have this big piece of meat that you didn't get to eat, and what are you going to do? You're going to probably heat it up with some carbs. So be careful with those, because you can definitely overdo them. They are way easier to put down. And number 10, which is kind of like the saddest thing for me to say on here, is the weight loss surgery community. Before my journey, I was very involved on YouTube and Instagram with and even Facebook with a lot of different people who have had weight loss surgeries, be it the sleeve, the bypass, the lap band, or whatever RNYs and all these other surgeries that they have. And it was pretty cool. You know, they gave me a lot of information that I needed, and I learned a lot, and I prepared for a lot of things with it. But I kind of set myself up to fail when I started kind of seeing them like great friends and great people in general, because I ended up meeting some of these people in person, and it was not what you think. They really are very different in person than they are online, and that is something that is very important to know. It's very important for you to take into account before you start meeting some of these people, because you know, you might go to, you know, wherever they're from, or they might come up to wherever you're from, and you're gonna be in a very, very awkward, sticky situation if you don't kind of prepare for the worst, because they are not the same people. We all post whatever we want to post on YouTube. You guys don't even know right now I'm actually in my underwear, but I wanted to wear this nice shirt because it's, you know, it's cute. But yeah, people online will show you what they want you to see, and that is very important for you to really realize when you're looking at the weight loss surgery community as a whole, or any people online for that matter. So just be cautious with that, because I wish I would have known ahead of time that I was going to have a couple of not so great encounters with weight loss surgery community folk. But that being said, that sums up my list of the 10 things that I wanted to consider before having weight loss surgery, had I known that they existed. So if you guys have any questions, please leave comments down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm really trying to do as much as I can for, you know, our community now, and